When you walk up to the vehicle with the key, it has a proximity key, so it senses the key when you approach it, when you approach the vehicle. And all it does is turn on this little light here on the handle. So there's no exterior lights on, there's no interior lights turn on or anything like that. So now we hit the unlock button. So that little handle light is illuminated, but now we have the headlights, the tail lights, and the interior lights are now on. When they turn the headlight switch to the complete off position, you still have these super bright lights here in the front. They're basically the daytime running lights in their brightest setting. There's no tail lights though, and there's no side markers or anything like that, and no headlights. So you can potentially mistake these for headlights and drive around thinking you have your headlights on when you have no tail lights, no side markers, no headlights, anything like that. Now I have the parking lights on, and you see those bright lights that we saw before are now dimmer. It's the same white light here. You can see right there, it's pretty long, wraps around to the side of the vehicle. It looks really nice, really sleek looking front end now. You see these lights are really impressive looking. Kind of it emphasizes the width of the vehicle, and there's a lot of that design language in the vehicle, that width emphasizing basically. So there is the side markers, an amber side marker here on the front, a little red side marker here on the back, and then the taillights kind of wrap around as well, so they're visible from the side and the back. And nice red taillights that completely go from one side to the other. So it makes it's like a flat H. So you have this line here, and it's connected in the middle. So it's this really long flat H for Hyundai, I guess. But yeah, looking really nice. And they're nice deep red. The camera kind of makes them look a little bit orange, but it is a nice deep red back here. The turn signal here in the front is that white light just turned amber, and it's super bright. So you're definitely going to be able to see this turn signal. I'm going to turn the brightness down on my camera so it doesn't blow it out. Yeah, you can see it shining on the ground and everywhere. So yeah, that's a really good turn signal here in the front, visible for miles basically. Turn signal indicator here on the side mirror in amber as well. It's visible from the front, the side, and the back. It's a little bit brighter this way. And the turn signal back here is amber, but it's a halogen bulb. So yeah, but it is a amber in color, and it's disconnected from the rest of the lights here, both in color and also location. So yeah, this is actually pretty good. If it was an LED, it'd be a little bit better, but considering the price range of the vehicle, that's not too bad. The third brake light is at the bottom of the glass, and then you have the inner portion of the taillights is the reverse lights. So let's look at the headlights. So right here is actually the headlight off position, and let's go to the actual headlights right there. So you can see there's still quite a bit of light in front of the vehicle, even when the headlights are off. But there's the low beams. And the low beams are a projector system. So it's actually, I don't know if you can see that, there's more than one projector in here. And let me turn the brightness even further down here. Hopefully you can see that. But yeah, there's an inner projector and an outer projector. And the outer projector is for the low beams. So let's go ahead and step back here a little bit. Turn the brightness back up a little bit. Okay, so looking at it just from this angle, I'm looking directly at the headlights. They're not blinding me at all. If I dip down, the cutoff is pretty low. It's like a little bit over 2 feet off the ground. So that's where all the light's going, on the ground there. So yeah, shouldn't blind anybody with that low of a cutoff. Okay, let's switch to the high beams there. And the high beams now have that inner portion illuminated. So now both of the projectors, they're kind of slim. They're kind of like thin like this way, and wide projectors in this little tiny spot right here. So kind of hard to show them on camera. So yeah, now we have the low and high beams, and I'm glad to see a secondary projector turns on, a second light that adds to the first light. Usually those type of high beams are much better. This trunk light is not good. I mean, it's basically a single halogen bulb there, not very bright. There's plenty of dark areas all the way around in this trunk area that is really an issue sometimes for me to use vehicles with poor lighting in the trunk. because I have equipment to get, and trying to rummage around my stuff and feel around is not fun. So yeah, definitely needs at least a brighter bulb in there or something. But as it is, it's very poor. The inside of the back door, there's no puddle lights or approach lights or anything like that. No pocket lights, nothing. Completely dark. And then the lights here in the back are coming from the center, just a regular dome light, halogen, not very bright. The floorboard is dark. It's not all that great at all. And there is 2 USB ports that are backlit, just barely. So yeah, the lights here in the back need to be improved as well. The front door, same thing. There's no puddle lights or anything like that, no pocket lights, but it does have the door switches here, backlit illuminated. Everything except for the side mirror adjustment. That's the only thing that's not backlit illuminated. You have the seats here. The seat presets anyway are also backlit. There's no floorboard illumination. There is some cool ambient light. We'll get to that in a second. And the lights here in the front are just basically these little tap lights right here, together with the dome light. Slightly better as far as seeing what you're doing here in the front than the back, because we had the addition of that dome light and those 2 lights. Okay, so I have the door open. Go ahead and shut it so we can see what we're left with as far as the lights. And we have the backlit buttons here on the steering wheel. To the left of the steering wheel. The headlight switch is not illuminated. It's here on the stock, but when you turn it, it shows here on this gauge display what you're doing. So it's just as good, really, as far as not having it illuminated. You can see it on the screen, which is fine, so you can see what you're doing. And that screen looks good. This one over here is good at nighttime. The nighttime navigation and all that stuff works great. All this is backlit. Now there is a charge port down here which is not backlit. There's no lights whatsoever. Down where you put your cell phone. Cup holders is dark. It's all dark there. The center compartment dark. Let me go ahead and turn on the interior light here so you can see what I'm talking about. So yeah, there's that compartment's dark. Cup holders. The place where you put your cell phone. Even the glove compartment has no light. So they kind of skipped out a lot of interior lights here that they could have put in, but at least have one in the pockets. Like the glove compartment and this center console should at least have something. But yeah, just completely dark. And up here, we basically have halogen tap lights. Nothing special. It's mostly shining in the lap area, like so. But it's a little bit in my face. Now it has this switch here for turning on all the interior lights, and you can't see it. So at nighttime, you have to, the only time you use this button is at nighttime. It's dark. And it's the one button that's not backlit illuminated, and it's right here. And you probably can't even see it. But that's the light, that's the switch to turn on the interior lights. So yeah, kind of silly. And then you have the mirror here, which when you open it, no light turns on, but it does have a separate light switch for that. And if you accidentally leave it on and close this, it'll just automatically hit the switch and turn it off. So in the settings here, so let's go to setup, and let's go to vehicle, scroll down to lights, and then go to ambient light, and you have a brightness. Right now I have it on 10, but I'll bring it down a little bit so you can see the different range, all the way to off. You can turn it off if you want. And then we'll put it back on 10. We can link it to the drive mode. We can also, there's a setting to dim it at dark. Just dims it slightly. But you can change the color here. And there's all these colors starting with white. And then it goes into a lighter blue, darker blue. Let's go ahead and change the color here. Polar white, moon white, ice blue, ocean blue, a little bit deeper. Then we have a jade green. It's kind of like an aqua color. Then we have an orchid green, which is a more vibrant green. Then we have a yellow, a red, purple, a violet, and then we have a custom color, which is set up right now to be that color right there, whatever that is. Before we go into set custom color, we have this color wheel, in which we can choose a more precise color that we want. So like say we'll go with a pink, since that wasn't an option before. And now when we go back, when we go to custom color, it'll be that pink color. So there's the headlight pattern on a fence. So let's go to high beams, there's low beams, and you'll notice that there's a spot that's a little bit lower down right in here that's supposed to line up with the oncoming lane. So we'll see how that works. So far the brightness is looking okay, but we really need to go on a dark road to see how it's actually going to perform. Okay, so there's the low beams, and they do seem a little bit higher on the edges, the cutoff. But yeah, that oncoming lane, the shadow is lining up on that, so that's good. Okay, so here's a pretty dark area right here, and those low beams are looking pretty good. Yeah, those are looking really good. I can see on the side of the road, and the trees are quite a ways off the road. So that's looking really good. Let's go to the high beams. Yeah, the high beams are adding to the light in the center in a higher position, and they are also looking pretty good. Yeah, these are really good headlights actually. Considering the price of the vehicle and everything, we've got some pretty bright headlights. I can see the trees in the distance, the sides of the road are well illuminated. There's no significant patchiness on the road, and the distance is good. So yeah, having that additional projector headlight, and considering the height of the vehicle, so those headlights are kind of low, so they do a pretty good job of aiming up and filling in. So like say if you're going up a steep hill or something like that, it's able to illuminate the road better when there's a higher light on the high beams especially. Low beams, you just kind of have to have them low, but the high beams, having that height and everything even on a low vehicle is good. But yeah, look at that. I mean, hopefully you can see that. It's illuminating pretty much everything. You don't have to have any kind of gimmicky sideways movement of the headlights. It doesn't really it doesn't really need any kind of gimmicks. It basically just fills in everything in front of you and handles it well. And those two projectors are lining up good. And here we go. Yeah, so far so good. I like these headlights. I think these are probably more impressive than I thought they were going to be. It really is. Vehicles that are kind of cheap, sometimes they cheap out a lot of areas. You can see this vehicle cheaped out on a lot of interior lights and stuff, but they didn't cheap out on the headlights. These are actually pretty good.